And I was like, nah, I know what Sonic sounds like. And they're like, not this time. Really, Mike and I could make fun of one another as actors.
And get paid for it.
And get paid for it. And like, this is what you sound like.
And this is what you sound like.
I am literally gonna top rope drop kick Charles Martinet. Because I do want to crush the competition. No, Charles is like the most wonderful human being. Like I love the guys.
That's just me. Roger?
So let me get this straight. You have only one butt? Because I have two butts.
Two tails, not two butts. That has not been established.
Right there, and I'm like, you've got to be kidding me.
There's a movie?
What movie?
Weren't there? You
Ryan, do you want to come sit on the cool kids table side?
I'm flickering blue right now.
You're watching convention coverage.
Thank you for putting Eggman far away from us. That's quite appropriate. The little father-daughter moment that's happening down here.
Bye.
Yeah, exactly. We see it. This chair is here because it's contractual.
We've chosen our sides.
Yeah.
Literally.
We set that up on purpose.
Okay, perfect. Good.
How are y'all doing?
Stay over there, Mike.
Great.
Fantastic.
Evil.
Evil, as in fruits of the devil. Everybody treating you okay? Having a good show?
Oh my gosh, yes. Everyone's
For the most
so sweet.
part.
Thank you guys.
It's been great. Thank you guys.
Thank you.
It's been awesome.
We're having a blast. Thank you guys for having us.
So my question is about the vocal direction for Sonic Frontiers. Compared to earlier Sonic games such as Colors, Lost World, and Forces, the characters sound a lot more natural and human, which normally would be a great thing, but when you're a 3-foot super fast blue hedgehog and an evil, maniacal 300 IQ genius, it seems a little off-putting. So I was wondering if you guys could tell us any stories about like the cues and directions you guys were given recording for the game when compared to, say, Lost World.
What exactly is off-putting about it? I don't. How dare you?
What you said is pretty much the direction we got. Natural, grounded, different.
Off-putting?
Yes, be as off-putting as possible, please, is what they told us to do. So.
I got chocolate pudding. I'm not sure
Chocolate-
how that...
Dad
Chocolate pudding.
More mature is one of the things that, because Tails is younger, is like, he's a little more mature is what I and grounded. Those are like the two.
I think it was
notes.
easier for me because this is Sage's first appearance, so we weren't, we weren't doing anything different than what I had done before. But they did mention in my sessions, they said, we're glad that we're not redirecting you a different way than you've ever done before, because that was a thing that was happening with everyone else in the game except for me, so.
And it was an excellent challenge to accept. And they liked it, so that works for me.
Yay!
At least what you're hearing too is that we don't, like, a lot of people will ask, why are you doing this? Why did you do this that way? That kind of thing. It's like, because I showed up to a place where people were paying me, and my job is to do what they tell me they want me to do. So I literally walked in, and I think Jack was like, you want to hear a reference? And I was like, nah, I know what Sonic sounds like. And they're like, not this time. Jack was, the director, Jack Fletcher, was our voice director, and he was like, no, we're going to do something different. And that's
That was a
actually
spot
how
on Jack.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
I think it
That's
was
exactly what he sounds like.
It really kind of matured the vibe of the
It does, yeah.
franchise.
And I think it lends itself to there being more at stake. And I think that's what, I think they deserve to go there every now and then. And obviously with those of us that worked on Boom and that kind of thing, it was a lot of like, nothing's at stake in Boom. And so the idea that they could do something and kind of like raise the stakes, I think is what they wanted to do. And so it'd be a little hard to imagine it being too drastic a situation. If we're still doing like, that kind of pinched voice, maybe that's a little too cartoony by comparison, which it's got its place and it's well served in other stories. But for this, the more realistic, as realistic as a talking blue hedgehog can be, that's what I think they wanted to go with. So, yeah.
Thank you.
What was like each of yours favorite project that you've ever been in? Just you had the most fun going through it.
It's such a hard question because we have such a great job. Like, we're so lucky to do what we do, and it's always a blast. My favorite jobs are always the ones where we get to work together. So Sonic Boom for sure is on the list because we laughed our faces off and we had way too much fun.
So did I.
Yeah. Yay, good. That was the goal.
You weren't there.
What an evil thing for him to have said.
You technically weren't there either.
Ryan, do you want to come sit on the cool kids table side?
I'm flickering blue right now. I'm flickering blue on the inside.
Ryan, a favorite?
they all fulfill me in different ways. I would say working on Neon Genesis Evangelion was one of the more artistically. Thank you. It was one of the, and I don't know if you guys know this, but in Japanese, Sage is played by Japanese Rei Ayanami, Megumi Hayashibara. So we now share 2 roles, which is an honor for me. But that was probably one of the more artistically fulfilling experiences. But I would not say fun. It's not fun to be Rei. It's very stressful. Fun, I would say Takachiyo in the Inuyasha sequel, Yashahime Princess Half Demon. He's fun. Like, it's just fun to be Takachiyo. He's just here for the ride, and he likes to pretend like he doesn't like Morha, but he really does. And it's just like he's funny, and they let me improv, and he's like the comedic relief. So it was just always a blast being him, as opposed to like being Rei Ayanami was not fun. It's an honor, and it was artistically fulfilling, and I loved it, and I would never undo it. But like, fun is not the word I would use to describe Evangelion. But so yeah, they're all like different. Like, my cups are filled in different ways by different projects, I guess. But this was, this was an honor beyond. This was next level. So yeah, thank you.
And as I love to say, my favorite will always be the next one.
I've seen you say that on Twitter.
Mike took my answer as well.
Thank you.
No, seriously, it's the next gig. I mean, like, what's great about animation and video games and just that side of the business is the creativity is boundless. And so the idea that there's more stories to be told and that kind of thing, it's a blast getting to be a part of somebody else's future project that all of a sudden you find yourself in it going, oh, who'd have thought? I can't imagine that we get to do a new version of this or that kind of thing. So honestly, every day behind a VO mic is a great day. So it's hard to pick 100%. What is the most fun that you've had, because the acquisition of the work is the work. The work itself is almost always fun unless something's going horrifically wrong or you're just in a basic retail session. Because those are always just kind of, yeah, all right, here we go. Yeah, you want me to say the 19 more times?
How can you say in July?
Yeah, exactly. In July.
Oh, my question's for Ryan. How did you get the audition for Sage?
It came the same way that auditions come, and it was a relatively short. There's the thing that I think a lot of people don't know is like voiceover auditions are not that long. You don't need. To be totally honest, we're talking 4 to 6 lines. Like, when I get an audition that's like 10 lines or more, everybody's thinking, why? Why did you write the sides this long? Because we audition. That's our job. Like, you see this, our job is this, and all of this is auditioning. So, like, we're cranking out auditions, I do probably 4 or 5 a day. So when I got the audition for Sage, it came much the same way it usually does. I knew pretty quickly that this is like in my pocket. Like, I did, like the way she was described, I could tell like this is in my sweet spot naturally. But it was like, and it was very code name. This is Sonic, so it was very secretive, But it did have a line that was too Sonic, so I could tell it was like, Sonic, are you there?
Yeah,
like,
I love that. What a neat code name.
I think this.
Restaurant.
Yeah, exactly.
I think
the drive-through place.
I think this is an audition for Sonic, but yeah, I still did not really think too much of it, even though I knew like this is kind of my typecast. This is a trope that I've explored before. But I kind of, you have to do it and let it go. Like, you do so many auditions, you just do your best and then you forget about it, because that's almost always the end of your journey. But I think the key with auditions, it's your one chance to be that character. So you can't really think about like, am I going to book it or not? Just think about like, this is the moment. In this moment, I am this character as much as anyone else could be in the world, and just kind of live it and have fun in it, and then let it go. Just, so that was it was the same as any other audition essentially, and I'm still kind of shocked that it worked out, but I'm very honored to be here. So thank you for your question.
What's some of your favorite recording moments recording Sonic, from like Sonic Colors, Boom, Generations?
Boom.
Sonic Boom, for sure.
Toot-a-toot.
That's what I say, Toot-a-toot's back, y'all. We're back, y'all. Yeah, whenever we got to sing was just hilarious blast. I like doing, Tails Crush was really fun too, because I played Zoe too, so I had a crush on myself. It was crazy.
I enjoyed getting to do the episode where we swap personalities, where it was like finally Mike and I could make fun of one another as actors.
And get paid for it.
And get paid for it, yes. And it was in the safety of a professional setting, so it was kind of like, this is what you sound like!
And this is what you sound like. And whenever they said, okay, this is all you, have fun, and I would get to just ad-lib random stuff that may or may not make the final cut, that was so cool, especially when it did. So Eggman singing his random songs, which I guess I should get composer credit for.
Yeah, you should.
So you like that? Okay, cool.
Since this is my only appearance in Sonic, I will just pick something from Frontiers. But there's two moments that really stuck with me. When Sonic offers Sage help, which is the first time you ever hear her kind of voice crack in a way that's like indicating that she's not just observing him. She's taken aback and has a more human reaction to him, and he offers her help. I really liked that moment in the script. And then I also really liked when she's watching Tails and Sonic, and she has this revelation about family. And she starts like crying. It's like, I play a lot of characters that have that moment where they like start. Rei Ayanami has that moment too, where she's like, what are these tears, and that kind of thing. But that moment really stuck with me, and they did it so beautifully. We don't get to hear each other when we record video games, unfortunately, but they did it so beautifully. I just watched it recently in a video on YouTube, and it's a lovely moment. It's like you see their connection in a really human way for little creatures, and you see Sage has a lot more human in her than we thought.
Thank you for indulging the drama of Frontiers.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Now, me personally, the way I see it, Mario and Sonic are two of the most iconic video game characters. You show anyone Mario and Sonic, they knew how it is. And Mario,
They usually go, Sonic and who's that?
He's over there.
This other character. It's odd. Yeah.
Pizza Sonic.
Yeah.
the way I see it,
It's a sick burn.
It's a Eggman.
Sorry.
It's okay. The way I seen it, I've been noticing Mario gets games constantly pumped out, and to me, Sonic has always been the underdog. So to you, all of you, how does it feel that you guys came together, brought a game, gave Sonic the recognition he deserved, and he crushed it in the sales? How does that feel for all of you as voice actors?
You know what? Honestly, for me, like I don't think about it as like crushing the competition. Like if we work on a game and it comes out and you guys love it, that is a win-win-win. We understand when you don't. You guys are all entitled to your opinions of what you love and what you don't, and that's great. But when you love it, then we're like, yay. Whether or not we crushed somebody else, I don't feel like I don't know. Like I don't have that competitive feeling toward another. Like I want all of the games to do well, because if games keep doing well, then we get to keep working and woohoo for everybody. So
I am literally, in an hour from now, gonna top rope drop kick Charles Martinet. And I want everybody to get their cameras rolling on it, because I do want to crush the competition. No, he's the one. Charles is like the most wonderful human being. Like I love the guy. So that's just, and he would laugh, and he would murder me, honestly. Yeah.
he'd be like, I'd like to see you try.
It's an interesting question only because there's so like we literally show up. It's like we show up. They tell us what we're doing very often, like within the first 5 minutes of a given session. Like I said, I showed up and I was like, I know what Sonic sounds like. It's like, not in this game. It's going to be very different. And you go, oh, okay. So it's anytime our job is to do what we're being told to do in the session, and then it's like this big collaborative, collective sort of effort from people that we sometimes don't even meet, never get to meet, that create these games, and the music and the animation style and the coding and the quality control, like everything, the marketing of it, like all that stuff goes into something that results in a successful product. And if you get to be a part of that from a voice acting perspective, it's just a win-win. So it's like, yeah, it's great that it resonated with fans, because I'm sure that all of us were kind of going, okay, a little bit of a different thing that's happening here. I mean, I was starting to think, oh, I'm 47, and they're going to think, oh, he's too old to do Sonic now. His voice is so low now. And it was like, no, it's not. I still got it. But no, those choices are not ours to make. So when it does come out and you see the collective sort of collaborative effort, and it's a successful game and launch and all that, it's just like, wow, this is great,
Now, sometimes in a session, a line or a moment will come along, and I'll predict, oh, fans are going to love this, or, ooh, fans are going to hate this. But really, direct your question to the suits. Mr. Sega and Mr. Nintendo, they're the ones who are saying, oh, this was a much better release than this one. Look how we're doing. But that shouldn't have been the Eggman voice, but I guess it was. But those are the people watching the numbers and the sales figures, and we're not watching those numbers.
Yeah, I was kind of blissfully unaware of how it was doing. I was like, no one's told me anything. And I asked, does anyone here play Genshin Impact? So Bo Bridgeland, who plays Chongyun, is like my best friend. So I asked him, I was like, is it doing well? Like, is the game selling? Because I don't understand numbers. And he's studied mathematics. He says maths. He's a maths guy because he's British. So he's a maths major. And I was like, did it do well? Did it make money? And he was like, yes, it did very, very well. And I was like, but compared to other things, is it doing well? And he's like, yes, it's doing very, very well. And I'm like, thank you. Okay, so I basically just didn't know. And this was for a long, I asked him this months after, recently, because it didn't really matter to it. I mean, we can only do what we do, it doesn't, what we did is if it wasn't enough, it wasn't enough. We tried our best. This is the product, it's out, and thank you guys for buying it. It did do well.
Just like an audition, when you're done, you don't think about it. It's out of your hand.
But I'm super grateful. I mean, of course I was nervous about the whole thing and being the new character, what this was gonna look like. All of it I'm very grateful for.
Awesome, thank you so much.
Do you have a favorite song from the Sonic franchise? This is a question for all of you that you might have.
Ryan?
Yes! I don't know the titles of them. I heard there's one called Dear Father. Is that the name of one?
Good answer.
And I assume that's the very emotional one, but I like them all. And people keep asking me about the soundtrack of Frontiers, which is amazing. I did not expect that. I did not expect that, when I joined the Sonic franchise, I would get this much questions and compliments on the soundtrack. But, that is an incredible soundtrack. I will say that. So I'm assuming that's the one that makes everyone cry, and I also like that one. So that's my answer.
I guess mine should be I Am the Eggman.
Green Hill Zone?
Good answer.
Sega.
That's pretty good. Pretty good. It's actually a Crush 40 song, and it's the one that goes. To narrow it down.
I like the part of the cartoon intro that's he's got an attitude.
And bonus points for the theme from Sonic X.
What do you think your characters' opinions on their Mario counterparts are? What does Sonic think of Mario? Does Tails think of Luigi? Eggman think of Bowser? And I guess what Sage thinks for Bowser Jr.
I think she would think he was cute. I don't know which one Bowser Jr. is.
I'll deflect this.
He sounds cute. I don't know those characters. I'm sorry. I know Mario.
At the risk of being the lone deflector, I don't like putting the thoughts into the characters' heads because the writers do that.
Oh.
Good answer.
That's just me. Roger?
I gotta say, I'm jealous of the mustache. Because if there's one thing I can't do, it's... Oh, no, wait, I'm gonna set this joke up wrong. I was trying to think of gotta grow a stash, but I don't, I was gonna go for that joke. This is why I don't do stand-up anymore. And why I'm much better on...
There's something there,
yes.
but...
No, I think we can all get along.
He'll have a thing.
He'll figure that one out.
It's a Luigi.
That's pretty good.
I don't know. I don't know what Tails would think of Luigi. I think they'd be good pals.
I think he'd probably be like, so let me get this straight. You have only one butt? Because I have two butts.
Two tails, not two butts. That has not been
Two
established.
butts. It's canon.
Is it?
It is now.
Two tails.
My question is for Colleen, Roger, and Mike. The three of you have voiced your respective characters for so long. Were there any oh snap moments where like you built up any routines or habits when you voiced your respective characters for as long as you have, and you come into the studio for Frontiers and you're told that you're doing something entirely different from what you usually do?
You know, for me, Tails wasn't that different for me. Like he was in the same pocket of my vocal range, if you will. It just was more about different circumstances, and it's a little more serious. And you know, Jack just kept saying he's more mature. So for me, it wasn't that different, other than from an acting standpoint of just like, oh, it's not your typical game where it's all up here like, oh my god, we gotta go, da da da. Like it wasn't that, because almost every game is that. It's just a list of lines that are like da 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 da. You know, every single line. It wasn't that. It was more dialogue, which was fun. So for me, it wasn't all that different. But I know like your register change was.
That was an oh-snap moment. It was like, whoa, okay.
Yeah.
I mean, literally, we walked in, and Jack was just, you know, he's just like, we're not doing it that way this time. And I was like, oh, okay. Because he was just like, it's going to be a little deeper, it's a little more, you know. And I'm thinking, for Sonic, so I'm like, okay, you know, it's over, Egghead. And he's like, a little deeper. And I'm like, it's over, Egghead. Little deeper. It's over, Egghead. Like, little deeper. It's over, Egghead. And he's like, right there. And I'm like, you've got to be kidding me. But that was it. I was like, I should be paying you guys. There's nothing, it's like 4 hours of going like this. 4 hours, you know, as opposed to 4 hours of going like this. I can do that.
Definitely would be easier on the vocal cords.
Oh, way easier, yeah. But it was neat, it was cool. It was definitely a surprise.
As I approach my 20th anniversary in August. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Here's to 20 more years of Mike Pollock.
Thank you. I'm reminded that in one of the later episodes of Sonic X, which I was doing at the time, there was a little bit of a dramatic-y moment with Eggman and Chris, where he went to a similar serious place that you didn't hear.
They're coming, Father.
My ride awaits. And when having to get an entire game of that was a delightful change. And when we came back to do some possibly additional stuff that I can either confirm nor deny, I listened back to the reference they gave and I said, I'm not doing a character there at all. It sounds just like me. Is that how I did that? Wow. But that's what they wanted, and okay. So it was a delightful change of pace. Thank you. Thank you. Good night.
And one more last thing, Ryan, welcome to the Sonic franchise as a VA. I look forward to hearing you more in any future games, and I love your performance as
Sage. Oh my gosh, thank you so much. That means a lot.
Have a great rest of your day at SacAnime, y'all. We love you.
Thank you. I can't thank you enough, seriously. Thank you guys.
Another oh-snap moment came for us, too, when we were doing the last Twitter takeover. Because all of a sudden we went, oh, what are we doing? We were like, are we doing Frontiers voices for this Sonic? Because that Sonic Twitter takeover stuff is usually kind of more comedic and silly and kind of over the top. And so they were like, how about a blend?
Yeah,
somewhere in between that.
Hi, guys.
Hello.
Hi.
It's great to see all of you, including the host here.
Yes, oh, wow. Oh, you guys, we have a host. When did you get here? What?
I'm just here in case there's chaos. Oh, wait.
Security.
I think we can keep our chaos in control.
All right, so my question is, what is something about all of your characters that you just love about them, like their personality, that's maybe an inspiration to you? Because obviously you guys have to do the performance, and sometimes actors put a lot of themselves into that performance. So is there anything about your characters that you guys really love that's maybe an inspiration or just the personality you love?
For me, chili dog diet. I just love chili dogs. No, his dedication to friends, I think, is a neat thing about Sonic. He's just like, he's so loyal to his friends.
That's what I was gonna say. I was totally gonna say that. No, because Tails she's totally loyal. Like he's the best sidekick ever. Like he would do anything for Sonic. Anything.
The curmudgeonly nature of Dr. Eggman and Sonic Boom. As I age, I'm getting those moments too.
I'm really close with my dad, And my dad's actually a chemistry major. He was a chemistry major, so my dad is a scientist. He works for the EPA now. He's an attorney, but his background is sciences. So for me, I'm gonna cry. For me, it was very, I was so happy to tell my parents that this is what I'm doing. This is who I've been, and I didn't want to jinx it because we were working on this game for years. So I didn't tell my parents ever, until it came out. And I was so excited to tell my dad because that is real for me, loving that love that I can relate to for sure. So this is for you, Dad.
That's great. Thank you all so much for being here. It's been an honor to meet all of you.
But Ryan, is he an evil attorney?
Aren't they all?
Yes.
No, he works for the EPA, so he's defending Earth.
Yeah, it's true. Okay.
With a 300 IQ, I assume.
He is. He's in Mensa. My dad is actually a genius. Yeah.
My dad was in bridalware. He made it. He didn't wear it.
My dad is literally a member of Mensa. He gets the mail and yeah.
I even heard that there was some different voice directions, especially for Roger when he played Sonic compared to the other Sonic games I played, Sonic Colors. So this question is going to be for all of you. So what was the most challenging part to make for Sonic Frontiers?
I don't know. Maybe just getting used to the new direction, probably, right? Or just feeling a little out of your zone?
I didn't feel challenged at all. No, I don't. For me, it wasn't. It was very similar to other. I don't know. It wasn't hard for me. I don't know what to say. I don't know.
I didn't want it to be too boring and depressing because if it's too low key, I was like, is it still audible? Am I too quiet? You need to gain up that microphone? But yeah, just making sure that it was still interesting while way lower key.
Yeah. Yeah. It'd be just the new direction, I guess, for me. Yeah. As well.
I've played so many characters that come into realization of their own humanity. That's something I've explored artistically many, many times over. I don't feel like I'm done with that either. But it started to be honest, I don't want to make this too long, but I'll try to keep it brief. But so when I was cast in Sword Art Online as this character that's AI, right? And we also see her as a human, and that's how I met Stephanie Shea, who is on Sword Art Online, and she also directs. She's lovely, yeah. Stephanie. She directs, and then she cast me as this character about a few months after that. I would think within a year, she cast me as this character in an anime movie called Satellite Girl and Milk Cow, which probably none of you know. But it's a Korean animated movie, and the character Satellite Girl is a AI, and it's the same thing. She's learning to be human as she goes, and she falls in love with a human. And I talked a lot with her and with Michael Sinter-Nicholas. They co-directed it about that process of finding that, and he told me to watch Spock in Star Trek. And I did, and I tried to understand that calculated, kind of refined thing that he does. That's very within the lines and curious and observing and learning and that kind of thing. And so I watched Spock, and I did that movie with them, and I learned a lot doing that. And then I met Carrie. Karen also directs with them, and I met her also through another NYAV project. And then about a few years after that, read for Evangelion, which is another kind of very similar thing, where this person's learning about their humanity thing, and then that was a crash course. I mean, after that point, I felt like I understand what this is, so yeah, it wasn't hard to do that. That's I don't even know if there's another actor that spent that much time doing that artistic thing over and over again in voiceover. And I study a lot of voice actors. I know what they do. So I kind of knew this is that. But I will say that there was a lot of, and this is always part of our job as an actor. I mean, you just have to learn to live with it. But the anxiety or the pressure of like hoping you don't get recast, because you can get recast at any point in voiceover until release date, because they literally can just bring in a celebrity last minute and have them redo all your lines and put them in. Like, it's very easy, in other words.
And they don't tell you.
Yeah, it's very easy logistically to replace someone in voiceover versus on camera. You're in the scene. They could digitize you out, but that'd be very expensive. In voiceover, it's much easier. So like, I think that if anything, it was a lot of like just years of wondering if I was going to actually make it into this franchise, and I couldn't really let that like get to me at all. I just had to kind of live in that and just be like, well.
Are you telling me that they take celebrities and put them into movies and voice acting roles that certain people have done for over 10 years? That's something that can happen in this business?
Sometimes you do it with live action,
I didn't know that could happen. Really?
Yeah.
Are you aware of this, Mike?
I'm learning.
That's crazy. Sorry, continue,
Wait,
Ryan.
you guys weren't in the movie?
What?
There's a movie?
What movie?
Oh my gosh. But it was
is salty.
just like holding my breath, but like just doing my best, just doing my job. Like, this is what I do. If I don't make the cut, if I'm not in the game, this is, it is what it is. But wondering if I was going to be the final, I never got the impression I wasn't. Like, it was never like we were on the fence. Like, they were really loving everything I did. Like, it was very positive, but you just never know. And you don't want to, like, count your chickens before they hatch. You don't want to take anything for granted ever. So that was kind of present, and I tried to turn it off. But that was like, of course, part of the many years for me that we were working on the game. Yeah.
Our answers sucked by comparison.
I know, yeah.
Thank you so much, Graham. Welcome to the Sonic series.
Thank you.
Looking forward to your next performances
Thank you
in the
so
Sega
much.
franchise.
I appreciate that. Thank you so much.
Same for the rest of you three.
Thank you. Thanks.
What do you guys think of Evil Ham?
Evil what now?
Evil Ham. It's a reference from Sonic Boom, that Eggman.
I mean, I'd try it. Why not?
Ryan, any thoughts on Evil Ham?
We like to eat it all the time.
Oh, like father, like daughter.
As you may know, I sold Evil Ham as a lovely gift, and it ended up being a heck of a problem because I tried to trade. It's Underwood deviled ham and correction fluid. You take out the D and the ED, it becomes Evil Ham, and I would bring it to conventions to sell. No one bought it, and I once tried to take it as carry-on luggage on a plane.
TSA.
Yes. And I did not, it didn't occur to me that it's a spread, which makes it a liquid. I figured, well, this isn't a liquid, no, it's spreadable, so it's a liquid. So I had to throw out an entire dozen
To
cans of
relinquish his ham.
I just love the idea of you being like literally with a TSA individual with a suitcase full of canned hams that have all been like crossed out so that it just says Evil Ham, and you explaining like, no, see, I'm this I'm Dr. Eggman, and it's like, and I'm gonna go to this place, and it's like, sure, with the hands behind your back.
Yeah. Not happening again. So I don't sell that anymore.
I think if you have too much ham, it becomes evil. It can, like most foods. Otherwise,
It's all about moderation.
No comment on Evil Ham. Yes.
Thank you for answering my question.
Thank you.
Thank you for the
Hello. I guess this is a general question for everyone, but what's your guys' favorite anime since we're at an anime convention?
Ryan.
You're like,
we keep going like this order.
She does anime. Say some anime titles.
You say them very well.
Are you dressed as Mob? Oh, you look like him. Mob Psycho is one of my favorites. I played Tsubomi on the. Yeah, I'm sorry, that's just an outfit. What are my favorite animes? I mean, Neon Genesis Evangelion is like one of the best written ones I've ever been a part of and ever seen. Mob Psycho 100 is one of my favorites. Yeah, those are usually my answers to people. I'm sorry, I pointed at you like, yeah, Mob Psycho, you get it. But yeah, those are my answers.
People seem to like Berserk. I'm Madonna in that. For 400 years!
It's a very violent one.
I'll take your word for it.
I watch Planet Starlight Chaser excellent all day, every day. Burn! You don't even know that reference.
Those weren't words. I don't know what he's saying.
Planet Starlight.
Gudetama.
Oh!
Right? Thank you.
There he is!
Gudetama. Gudetama.
Whatever.
Did you guys see that? You guys have to watch it. It's like you can watch the whole thing in less than an hour, and it's ridiculously cute. And
Very fun.
he's Gudetama, and I'm the little Pio, little chicky chick. Buddies again. So it makes no sense. A chicken and an egg looking for its mother, but oh my God, they're so cute.
And my egg has a butt crack.
And
Kinda
yes,
cool.
it's like he's got like
Little
little booty,
squishy
booty,
egg
booty.
yolk butt crack.
I'm glad you guys didn't know anything about anime. That was that was fun to watch.
I would say Naruto is.
There you go.
Bleach. That was Bleach.
Digimon, anyone?
We're trying.
Glitter
We're
Force?
throwing out all the big ones.
I gotta say, Glitter Force was one of the most fun to work on because Mary Elizabeth McGlynn directed, and we just and when my character got to be funny, and so she would like rewrite lines just to make them even funnier. So that was fun.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I want to ask because I'm actually aspiring to be a voice actor in the future. I was wondering how you guys got into the industry.
I started out doing musical theater. When I went to school, I was studying musical theater and psychology because those totally go together. The plan was to be a music therapist, but by like year 3, I was like, I can't do school anymore. So I finished, and I was like, I don't know what I'm going to do, blah, blah, blah. I always did voices. They just came out. You see a dog or a baby that can't talk, like it just did it. And somebody overheard me doing a voice, and they're like, was that you? And I apologized. I'm like, I'm so sorry. They just come out. And she said, no, you need to do voiceover. And it was the first time it occurred to me that, oh my gosh, that's somebody's job? And that was it. Like, they said that word, and I was like, oh, yeah, that's for me. And so then I moved to LA, and had like 17 cents in my bank account for 2 years, and whatever, pick people's brains, and then I kept acting though. I kept taking acting class, and I took a voiceover class, and I put together a demo, and did all the things you're supposed to do. Joined the union, and then it happened. My first one was a Reporter Barbie book. One of those books that you push the button. It's fun to be a reporter. It's fun to be a reporter. It's fun to be a reporter.
That was you at home with it after it came out, pressing the button.
Yes, because it was broken and you couldn't get those batteries, so I would just. But that's my story.
Everybody's gonna have like a different story because it's like the voice is the vocal fingerprint kind of thing. So everybody has like a very unique way that they got into the business, the different backgrounds they had. I was going to college. I was a musical theater major, and I was getting a psychology degree as well. And I moved out to LA with like I moved out to LA with 17 cents in my bank account for like 2 years. And,
your Barbie book was great.
My Barbie book was great. It's like, it's fun to be a reporter. It's fun to be a reporter. I was doing, I was a musical theater kid when I was younger, and then theater arts in high school, and then got out, was gonna be a rock star and a drummer in a band and all this other things, and then got into like sort of mid to late 20s doing stand-up comedy and things like that while studying screenwriting. And honestly, the industry just kept telling me stop doing stand-up and go think about doing this. Because I would do voices and characters in the act, and the industry was just, people would say, like, who represents you for this? You should really look into that. And it was like, oh, but what about my stand-up? And they're like, yeah, why don't you go do this? And that was honestly, you just start hearing from people, and you just, it's just a slog. From point A to point B is never like a straight linear sort of an approach. It's like zigzagging all over the place, and eventually you just find yourself looking back and going, oh, how did I get here? So yeah, it's a unique journey for everyone, but everybody gets started in very different ways. Why does that get applause?
You're welcome, everyone. But I don't know why.
Take that and do with it what you will.
As a kid, I loved radio because I was an old soul, and I loved theater. So I listened to the radio. I dealt in theater at school. And when it came time to pick a career, I realized, well, both of these are fairly unstable, but I think radio is a little more stable than theater. And after a few years in radio, I realized that's not the case.
Wow.
No, but I was still doing theater on the side, community theater and stuff. And at one point, after several layoffs and firings, I decided, well, I should probably take that theater-y thing and maybe combine theater and radio and do a voiceover thing. I can make a demo. So I had a demo of some comedy bits and song parodies that I wrote, put that together and shopped around, and an anime producer liked it, and Pokemon liked it. And I said, oh, okay. I guess while I'm between engagements, let's see how this goes. Got one of the jobs back, kept moonlighting, pissed off the boss. At one point, I reached the level of my incompetence. Boss said, thanks, bye-bye. I said, well, I guess I'm doing this full time now. And I did, and I keep doing it because nobody said not to.
Yeah. Also inspirational. So I was doing musical theater as a kid, and I danced, and I played guitar and mandolin, and I was like very much into the theater, basically, live performance, and eventually started to want to get into film acting. And I had an agent. I was like 9. I started as a kid, and I had an agent, and they started getting voiceover auditions for kids, like kid radio spots and stuff. And then I got a job working for Radio Disney, because they use real kids to do their like promos, like that kind of thing. Like that was real kids. And they had an office in, I'm from Texas originally, so they had a big corporate Radio Disney office in Dallas. And I cut my teeth doing a lot of that. And then I figured out I wanted to do, and I grew up watching Pokemon and Miyazaki movies, and I always loved Hello Kitty. So I got really into like that kind of style and anime stuff. But I grew up, started studying animation, voice acting when I was a young teen, and really fell in love with that, and decided like I want to do animation, and it's so hard to book. It's so hard to book. And so I went to a magnet art high school, graduated high school a year early, moved to LA to pursue voiceover. And it was always, it still is like very much a grind. Went to college, I went to USC while on the grind of trying to do voiceover in LA. So I graduated from USC Film School, and I kind of thought like, maybe I'll book a series eventually and I won't finish all of school, and that just never happened. So now I have a degree, and, which I'm very grateful for. Like if anyone's wondering, and I get this question a lot, like I don't think it's bad at all to have a college degree. Do you need one for voiceover? No, but I don't regret that experience at all, and I definitely like feel like it made me a more well-rounded person. So yeah, that's kind of how I got into it, and I just kept trying. Like I kept auditioning, I mean, it's a lot of failure. Like it's mostly failure. But that's kind of how it started, and I'm just grateful to keep the ball rolling and jumping from stone to stone, and like I feel like it's like jumping from stone to stone in a river, because it doesn't seem to get easier. But I also like kind of love the chase. Like you got to have like very thick skin and just keep at it and keep your head up. And I always feel like if there's anything else you could be doing, like definitely do that, because this is really hard. Just like statistically, the numbers, like if you're auditioning for an on-camera show, they don't have time to make appointments to see more than, if they're going really fast, maybe 50 or 60 women a day for a role on NCIS or something. But for voiceover auditions, they're literally getting back 500 to 1,000 MP3s for every role, because we do all of our auditioning remotely for the most part, and they can just skip. Like they can listen to one line and just skip to the next person. So like statistically, number-wise, I feel like your odds are almost better on camera than voiceover. But there's a lot of voiceover work. There's audiobooks, and there's toys, and there's promos and trailers and video games and anime and live action dubbing. Like there's so many different types of work that there's a lot to go around. But like it's such a intense competitive numbers game. But yeah, that's the game I'm here to play. So thank you for your question.
Thank you guys so much for coming out, and it was a pleasure meeting you all. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, if you ever wanted to feel like a needle in a haystack, voiceover.
A big round of applause to Ryan Bartley,
Thank you,
Mike Pollock, Roger Craig Smith.
We have a